Okay. Thank you, Janet, and everyone that's tuning in today from around the world. Greetings from Illinois, and this is Midwest. And I truly appreciate everyone that really just braced up to this moment that we are living in and made it possible to tune into the presentations today. I am an assistant professor here at University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign, but I'm originally from Kenya, and as Janet has said, yes, fighting world hunger has been a topic that has been very passionate to me, having grown up in Kenya and seen firsthand what hunger means, experienced it, and working every day to ensure that we live in a world where everyone, and I mean everyone from every corner of the world, can have nutritious food today and every day. So I think Nikki already touched on the situation. According to the World Food Program, we've continued to see a rise in the number of food insecure and hungry people in our world. Of 2019, over 820 million people are hungry. And you can see from this global map that hunger is not only an African problem, hunger is a global issue. It is our shared challenge. And according to scholars and United Nations World Food Program and many researchers that work on these issues, there are several key drivers of hunger. And I'm just listing a few that include climate change, poverty, conflict, economic slowdowns and downtown, in income inequalities, and unhealthy soils. And climate change, we've seen a lot of extreme climate change events recently, including drought, floods that cause the loss of more than 80% of agricultural crops. And this in the picture are slides actually taken from Kenya when I visited in 2016. This is our home, my family's farm. So these are issues, as I shared, that are very true to me. I see them in my family, I see them in my community, I see them in my country, and I see them globally. And seeing our farm not able to produce crops that can sustain us, which means that my family then is hungry, my community is hungry. So definitely, once again, as I share, this is a topic that I see and I continue to see every day in my farm, in our family, and in our community. And just continuing to touch on the key drivers of hunger, Nikki already touched about soils, the role of soils. We cannot really underestimate the importance of healthy soils. And according to research and current statistics, a lot of the soils where agriculture happens are degraded. And in 2015, we celebrated the Year of Soils, which truly put a spotlight on the issue. In Africa, 65% of soils are degraded. And this is an issue that is a global issue. Southeast Asia, Latin America, around the world. And what this means is that depleted and unhealthy soils cannot support yields, nor grow the nutrient-rich crops that we need to nourish our world. And confounding the hunger challenge are many other challenges, including an urbanizing world. A lot of people moving from rural areas to urban cities, and employment, food waste, which Nikki already talked about, and I hope that many of the keynote speakers and discussions today will continue to bring highlight on this important topic. And then a growing population. I don't know about you, but if you ask me, whichever way you look at it, hunger should not exist in our world. Whether you look at it from a religious point of view, a moral point of view, a social point of view, a political one, and an economic one. It is simply wrong. We all must work together to achieve a world with no hunger. Bringing me to an important question, which is the question of the day. Can we achieve a zero hunger? Is it possible? If you ask me, I do believe we can. I'm an optimist, and I see enormous challenges as enormous opportunities, with every one of us having a role to play. And if you play your role, if you play your part, if you use your skills, if you use your talents, if you use the resources that you have, yes, we can. And I will share what I think are some of the initiatives that stand to be most beneficial as we all work to achieve a world without hunger. And once again, Nikki has already shared about the role of agriculture. Yes, history has proven that agricultural development is an effective way of remedying hunger and food security challenges. When it is done properly, I do believe that agricultural development can increase production, it can improve nutrition, protect our environment, and raise incomes among the world's hungriest people. Yes, agricultural development can drive economic development and reduce poverty. And so I do believe that initiatives that focus on revolutionizing agriculture stand a chance to allow us to achieve a world of zero hunger. And why do I think so? When you think about the African continent, where a lot of the people that are hungry live in, 70% of Africans depend on agriculture as a source of livelihood. So if we get it right, if we ensure that agriculture they are practicing can deliver, I do believe that we will achieve zero hunger. At the same time, agriculture is Africa's largest economic sector. It contributes 15% of the continent's gross domestic product. I do believe that agriculture that is focused on women can help reduce hunger, poverty, and take us a step closer to achieving zero hunger. And why is this? Because women farmers make up 43% of the agricultural labor force in developing countries. When we empower them, we can reduce the number of hungry people by 100 to 150 million. Yes, I do believe that investing in women farmers can provide a strong link between agriculture and nutrition. And agriculture that empowers women and unleashes the power of women. Once again, why? As I shared, women are the major stakeholders in African agriculture value chain, 43%. And so if we ensure that they have equal land tenure rights, we finance their agribusinesses and their activities and ensure that they have the resources they need to make agriculture work, providing them with agricultural inputs, equipment, and water, and training them and retraining on modern agricultural technologies. I am a scientist. I know that every day new technologies are being produced, we need to train and retrain these women farmers so that they can apply these recent scientific technologies on their farms, so that they can unleash their power and create unique markets to ensure that the products that are coming off from their farms make their way. And if we co-create initiatives and bring them to the table, we see them as stakeholders, and then that means that they should be in every discussion that is talking about their role. And of course, we have to be considerate of their workloads and time schedules. And if you have ever visited many of the African countries, you realize that women are doing many, many things. And we must be considerate as we empower them. I do believe that also agriculture that is focused on empowering youth can help us accelerate the progress. And why do I believe this? Because youth under the age of 35 make up 60% of the African population. And I know, I interact with them every day. They are tech savvy, they're innovative, and they want to put these technologies to work. Let us use them. And many of the people that are tuned in, your students, I consider you youth. Use the technology, use the innovation that's around us to help us achieve zero hunger. And it's not about just, giving the youth a chance. Let us also finance, give them the tools and finance their agribusiness activities. And we know that land is expensive. Give them the opportunity, the financial capacity to acquire the resources that they need to make agriculture work. Once again, let us train them, empower them through agribusiness boot camps, so that they know how to plan their businesses. When they take agriculture as business, then they can succeed, and agriculture can deliver. Agriculture can help us nourish our world. I also believe that agriculture that builds on Africa's strength, including information and communication technologies. Today, all of us are now using Zoom. We're using technology. And I want to see technology be used to truly make agriculture work so that we can attain this zero hunger. The cell phones are everywhere around the world. Let us use them to deliver real-time, accurate information so that when women, when youth are thinking about their agribusiness, they're informed. Agriculture that makes improvements across the entire agricultural value chain, from inputs to production to processing to marketing. Improved seeds that can tolerate drought, flood, and other extremities that come with a changing climate, so that farmers around the world can grow crops and eventually obtain their yields. And such innovations, I do believe, stand to benefit not only the African continent, but all of us that are tapping on the power of agriculture to ensure a world without hunger. Climate smart crops, crops that are drought tolerant, and other water efficient varieties, sorghum, amaranth greens. We truly must tap on bringing these innovations to people that need it around the world, Latin America, North America, wherever hunger is an issue. And we must also continue to ensure that we are working to ensure the evolving threats. We've seen insect pests, for example. Right now, Africa is dealing with the desert locust. And before that was the fall armyworm. And this is just continuing, and it will continue. According to research, pest invasions are only going to continue. How can we ensure that farmers stay ahead of these evolving threats? Because if we ensure that they are ahead, we will not erase the hard-gained agricultural development that has happened over the last many years. We must ensure that we are prepared for what's ahead. I believe in agricultural extension, innovations that allow us to reach farmers wherever they are, even in the rural of the rural. And we've already seen amazing scientific innovations. For example, we have the Scientific Animations Without Borders, where extension, a lot of technologies that are coming off from labs are being packed in just in numerous languages that farmers speak, so that they can be able to know what is going on. And Nikki talked about urbanizing cities. I see that as opportunities to find ways to grow up. We realize that if we are dealing with the challenge of degraded soils, how are we going to feed the 10 billion of us? We must find ways. And already these innovations are happening around the world. For example, you see the sack farming. This happens straight in Nairobi, in Kibera slums, where people are finding ways to feed us. And we can only continue to harness these technologies and ensure that even the rural areas benefit from the innovations that allow us to grow food. And even in the urban areas, I'm still going to emphasize on the need to stay ahead, because when we stay ahead of the challenges and emerging threats, then we can attain a world without hunger. Big data, we are in the age of data. From North America to Africa to Latin America to Asia, must tap on innovations that harness big data and apply artificial intelligence to make agriculture work. Above all, we must engage universities, and I'm proud of universities fighting world hunger because they've been in the forefront. I've been with them for the last 15 years, I believe. And every year and every minute, they are engaging researchers from a range of disciplines that are represented in our campuses. We must continue that. And we must continue to empower and engage everyone in the university communities, from students to postdocs to faculty. Let us engage them and use the voice, the intellect, to provide solutions to attain a world without hunger. And above all, I believe in co-creating these solutions. We cannot attain a zero hunger when we do it in siloed approaches. We must talk to the farmers, talk to the people that are hungry. What knowledge do they bring to the table? What are their needs? Let's harness everybody's power, because to feed 10 billion, it will need all of us working together. Talk to your neighbor, to your faculty member, to your department, engage them. How can we use and tap on everybody's skills to attain a world without hunger? Of course, policies will matter. We must continue to fight and ensure that governments put in place the policies that will ensure we attain this world without hunger. Everyone, and I mean everyone, from around the world, from every corner of the world, whether you're in Pakistan, whether you're in Kenya, whether you're in Kentucky, whether you are in Europe, you have a place. You can be engaged in this movement that we all share. A movement where we will see no hunger exist. And as I said, everybody has a role. So I will share my personal contribution. What have I done? What have I contributed into this big challenge of ensuring that hunger is no longer an issue to my community? So this is my home. As I said earlier, I grew up in Kenya from very humble beginnings, the Kenyan coast to be exact. And I grew up farming as a small, my parents practice smallholder farming. They are teachers as well. So I grew up doing just everything that a normal girl growing up in Kenya would do. We would farm in the morning. I would go fetch water and get firewood to cook for my family. And as Janet said, I got my PhD in 2011 at Auburn University. So yes, hey to everyone, War Eagle out there. But as I got my PhD, I imagined the Kenyan coast where I come from as the next hub where agriculture, entrepreneurship, smart marketing, and smallholder farming would intersect to result into zero hunger. And of course, I believe in agriculture, and the sure way, I've said agriculture, I believe, is a sure way to attaining zero hunger. And so I was lucky that Miss Auburn and other members at Auburn University fundraised and allowed us to get a water well for my community. And then with our water well, we started being the light. We started working with students and farmers and teaching everything that I knew, everything that I'd learned from Auburn, from Israel, from around the world, where I had been. I took all the resources and knowledge and started transferring them to my community members, young and old. And we worked with farmers. Women, as I said, I believe in empowering women, but of course we cannot leave the men behind. So we brought the men as well. And we've been working with, since we started, we've worked with over 1,000 farmers, and we will just keep going because I want to make sure that agriculture works. And agriculture brings this development, and agriculture allows us to attain zero hunger. And in October of 2016, as I always say, I didn't know that what I was doing, the government was watching. And so in 2016, I was in Auburn and I received a call, and our county, our local government had decided that they would host the United Nations World Food Day celebrations in our farm. And I traveled to Kenya, and we had a beautiful gathering celebrating agriculture, showing farmers what is possible. But just working with agriculture and my community, we realized that the sustainable path out of poverty and hunger and attaining a zero hunger would entail other things. It would entail an holistic approach that integrates key areas including education, healthcare, clean water, and the desire of everybody to play their part in helping achieve zero hunger. Of course, I said education, so I believe in education. It's also a sure way to ending hunger and a sure way to ensuring that young people have a path out of poverty. And so in 2012, we started a school. My parents and I co-founded a school. And today we have 110 students, and we are incorporating agriculture. As I said, I believe in agriculture, and I want students in our compound to learn about new methods of farming and to combine education and agriculture. And with climate change, the water well that we had been gifted by Auburn could not sustain our growing agriculture. And so upon coming to Champaign and Urbana-Champaign, University of Illinois, I joined other the Rotarians, and just this year we are drilling a permanent water well. Is actually done, and with a permanent water source, we are going just to keep growing our vision of achieving zero hunger. These are just some of the pictures that I just got 1 month ago. So we are truly continuing this vision and the mission to achieve zero hunger. When I look into the future, I do believe our community success will inspire other communities, and will keep moving this wave of tapping on agriculture. We will continue it until hunger and poverty becomes a story of the past. So I do believe in ending that, yes, we can achieve zero hunger. It is not an impossible task. When you and I and everyone tuning to this morning play their role, when you use your skills, when you use your talents, when you use activism, advocacy, and everything that you are privileged to have, we can achieve it. So let us make happen. Thank you very much.